everyone, I'm Sarah of Rich Textures Crochet and welcome. Today we're going to learn how to crochet the cottage dishcloth, and this is a beautiful, thick, reversible textured washcloth. It's quite simple to work. It features just a little bit of a nice simple pico edging, which really sets off the thick texture in the stitch of this washcloth. So this is the cottage dishcloth. And today for the tutorial we're going to be using a worsted weight or medium weight cotton yarn. This is the Pima Cotton by Lion Brand. It's a 100% cotton. And you're going to need about 130 yards for this washcloth. The thick texture in it does use a little bit more yarn than some of the other washcloth patterns, but it is absolutely gorgeous. So you're going to need about 130 yards. You're also going to need a 5mm or an H8 crochet hook and a copy of the free written instructions, which are on my website at richtexturescrochet.com. I'll have a link for you down in the description of this video. So thank you so much for joining me. While you're here, I invite you to take a look around. Don't forget to subscribe. There are some other dishcloth and scrubby patterns here on my channel, and lots of other free crochet patterns for you and your home as well. So let's grab our hooks and yarn and get started. Our cottage dishcloth today is worked in rows, so we're going to start by making a slip knot and then by working a foundation chain. Our foundation chain today for an 8x8 washcloth is going to be 32 chains. If you would like to change the size of your washcloth, you can. You're simply going to need a multiple of 3 plus 2 stitches. Once you have your 32 chains worked, you're going to begin row 1 by into your second chain from your hook. You're going to work a single crochet followed by a puff stitch into the same chain. To work your puff stitch, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the same chain, yarn over and drop a loop. Do that one more time. Yarn over, insert your hook into the same chain, yarn over and draw up a loop. You're then going to yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. That's your puff stitch. You're then going to skip the next chain and into your next chain, work a single crochet followed by a puff stitch into the same chain. You're going to repeat this all the way across. Skip the next chain, into your next chain, single crochet and puff stitch, all the way across where you will end with a single crochet stitch into your final stitch. When you come all the way across at the end of your row 1, you're simply going to finish off with a single crochet into that final stitch, chain 1 and turn your work. Now for row 2, you're going to begin by working a single crochet into that first single crochet stitch followed by a puff stitch. Your chain 1 does not count as a stitch. You're then going to repeat this in each single crochet all the way across. So skipping that puff stitch into the next single crochet, work a single crochet followed by your puff stitch all the way across until you come to that final stitch, which is your single crochet. You're going to work a single crochet into the final stitch. When you come all the way across at the end of your row 2, you're going to skip that final puff stitch and work a single crochet into that final single crochet stitch, chain 1 and turn your work. You're now going to repeat that row 2 for rows 3 through to 23. So when you're finished, you should have a nice square piece of fabric, and or you can add more rows, take off rows if you want to adjust the size. It's up to you. But you'll work a repeat of that row 2 for rows 3 through to 23, and then you can meet me back here. Once you have worked through to the end of row 23, this is what your work looks like from the beginning. You can fasten off, weave in your ends, and then rejoin to work this edging. Or if you're working in the same color, you can just leave it fastened at the end of that final 23rd row, chain 1, and turn your work. You're then going to, for round 1 of your edging, you're going to work a single crochet into each stitch all the way across the top of your work. I'm just working my single crochets into the tops of each puff stitch and then into each single crochet stitch all the way across to the first corner. When you come all the way across, you'll want to work one more single crochet into that first corner. Then along your rough edge, you're going to work one more single crochet into that corner, and then work 29 more single crochets all along the side. So you'll want a total of 30 single crochet stitches along the side. Now you can change this number if you would like. Simply work the number of stitches that feels comfortable. You'll just want to make note of it so that you can work the same number along the other side. So work all the way along to that next corner. In that next corner, work another single crochet, and then work single crochets along the bottom side, crochet in the corner, and then up the final side, and finish off with a final single crochet in that final corner. You can then join with a slip stitch into the top of the first stitch. When you come all the way around, you're going to join with a slip stitch into the top of your first stitch, chain 1. Continue working in the same direction, and for round 2, you're going to single crochet into the first stitch. You're then going to work a picot stitch. To work your picot, you're going to chain 3 and then slip stitch either back into the third chain from your hook into that first chain, or I like to actually insert my hook into the post of that first single crochet. You're then going to single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches and then work a picot, chain 3 and slip stitch either back into the chain or into the single crochet stitch. Work a single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches and picot. You're going to repeat this all the way around until you come back to your first stitch. When you come back to your first stitch, you're simply going to join with a slip stitch into the back top of that first stitch, fasten off, weave in your ends, and your cottage dishcloth is then complete. That's all there is to working it. So thank you so much for joining me And once again, while you're here, don't forget to subscribe, take a look around. If you happen to make the cottage dishcloth, feel free to share it with me on social media. You can tag Rich Textures Crochet. I always love to come by and admire your work. So until next time, happy crocheting. Bye.